12 teams representing some of the biggest cities around the world. 72 of the world's most talented poker players with over $350 million in combined lifetime earnings will put everything on the line over 8 months to compete for the title of the first ever GPL World Champions. Which team has what it takes? The Global Poker League starts now.
Hello and welcome back to the Global Poker League. You are watching live this Thursday evening. We are on to week 5 already. I am Laura Cornelius. I am joined by Eric Danny, the GPL insider, or the stat man, as I like to call him. We've watched some matches already. Well, 3 games of the first match, and that was, of course, Tom Marchese up against Thiago Nishijima. Nishijima took it down for the Sao Paulo Mets, 6 points, and Marchese was able to grab 3 points for his New York Rounders.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, Nishijima just shows up and wins. That's all he does. 4-2 in those 2 weeks, so good for him. A lot of points for Sao Paulo since his pick-me-up for that team last week. So Sao Paulo now sitting in a great position and in control of their own destiny for once. It's
fair to say we have seen a lot of the insides of Thiago's hotel rooms. We've seen him in all sorts of destinations so far.
Yeah, we've seen Pascal Lefrançois ruin his wedding.
Yes.
Right? He was on a honeymoon and lost 3-0 to Lefrançois. That probably gives Lefrançois a little extra satisfaction. I know him a bit. I'm sure he was happy about that. But then, boy, 2 weeks in a row, we see him in beautiful Monte Carlo. That beautiful hotel room seems to be a good luck charm. Maybe he needs to move there.
Maybe.
The new wife might enjoy that. You never know.
Lefrançois could have let him win on his wedding.
Not at all, no.
Really?
No. That's not how it works.
No, it doesn't not. Oh, I've got so much to learn about this poker thing, haven't I? We have an excellent match coming up for you this evening. In fact, we've got 2 excellent matches coming up for you this evening. The next one, though, is going to be Montreal Nationals manager Marc-Andre Ladouceur. That is coming next versus Olivier Busquet of the LA Sunset, the top scorer of the Global Poker League so far. He's been taking down so many points for Maria Ho's side.
He's also won the second most heads-up games, so could actually surpass Nanonoko tonight. Nanonoko with 8 games, 1 heads-up, and Busquet with 6, so 3 wins tonight would have him ruling everything in the GPL.
Now, we've talked about Ladouceur. He obviously is no stranger to the online felt, but Busquet certainly has the experience when it comes to heads-up play.
Yeah, I mean, Busquet known as the reference or one of the references when it comes to heads-up poker online. So it's a tough matchup for Marc-Andre, who's seen, he's seen his fair battles in his day. So not surprised to see, or wouldn't be surprised if Marc-Andre wins this. However, it's going to be a very, very tough competition tonight.
Do we think Busquet is the favorite here?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I think Busquet is a favorite in every single heads-up match this year.
And what about if Busquet is to play 6-max? Who do you think is the best 6-max player in the league?
Oh, I don't know. That's not my role to say. I would have to say the top scorer of the league, which is Busquet, who actually did win a 6-match max as well. Maybe a little Olivier Busquet, maybe the other Liv Boré, who's won twice 2 6-max matches, so wouldn't be counting her out.
In fact, I could see there was a little bit of confusion in the Twitch chat at some points as to who is Liv B. There are 2 Liv Bs in the Global Poker League. One is Olivier Busquet, who is a male, and the other one is Olivier Bourret. Well, I said that a bit weird.
It's Olivier Bourret, but yeah. But when it comes to online poker, Liv B, there's only one Liv B, and that's Olivier Busquet. But yeah, very easy to confound the both. Probably not when they're sitting next to each other. Then we can tell which is which.
I think we should have Liv B versus Liv B. Heads
Maybe
up. That would happen in Vegas.
Or an MMA fight.
Only in Vegas.
Oh, actually, that would be good because she could probably hold her own.
She's scrappy.
Yeah, she's scrappy. Right, we will head over to our commentators, Sam Grafton and what's his name again?
Griffin Benger, Flush Entity.
Oh, him?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll go to him.
Sorry, this is Griffin Benger, Sam Crofton here with the Global Poker League. Sound malfunction there. We're really excited about the set of matches. Thiago Nishijima just played. Was able to get 2 of 3 from the great Thomas Marchese, and we got a great match coming up right here, Sam.
Yeah, for sure. people around the world, big fans of Canada, the country that gave us Justin Trudeau and
1 point Marc-Andre Ladouceur.
And Drake and The Weeknd.
Oh,
And now
baby, the 6 represent. How about the 6?
Marc-Andre Ladouceur, a fan favorite, I'm sure, by the end of the season. Someone I really admire within the poker community. So articulate, pretty handsome guy.
Yeah,
and,
French day.
And
French
someone
day.
that has been at the top of the poker tree for a long, long time. Stars ambassador as well. At the moment, I'm able to make the joke, 1 point Ladouceur. Obviously, didn't have the most auspicious of debuts, but looking to set that right against the toughest of opposition.
Marc-Andre Ladouceur, a guy that loves the king to 9 straight. He's known as French Dog on PokerStars. Earnings of $1.7 million USD. Best GPI rank of 40. 43 results, only 1 win. Not much of a finisher. First result back in October of 2007. All kidding aside, an excellent ambassador for Canadian poker, for francophone poker, coming from Montreal. And yeah, he's here to play, and he's got it in tough with the guy that we don't shut up about here at the GPL, Olivier Busquet.
Yeah, Marc-Andre with his cash game background, I think is going to feel perfectly comfortable against Busquet with the deeper stacks. Question is, how will he play a little bit shorter? Obviously, someone that for many years was a supernova elite when that still was a thing, so probably did play some hyper turbos and sit and goes in order to meet the FPP requirements. Don't know too much about his short stack background, but certainly a top poker player. I think against almost anyone in the league, he would be a favorite, but not against this man, Olivier Busquet.
Yeah, I talked a bit yesterday about, what makes Marc so good. And it's not just, coming from that cash game background, being really good in the early levels. This is a guy that has really cut his teeth at the, 20 big blind cash game
the cap
stacks, the caps game. So, the cap games, pardon me. So, Olivier Busquet is going to be in for today. I think if there's a favorite in this match, it'd still be Liv just because of the way he's playing, but I think this could go either way.
And obviously, the lineups are down to the captains, but real treat for us that we see Busquet put up against top-class opposition. There's been some mismatches, people like Bill Perkins and such like. Busquet coming up against tough opposition. Once again, first Marchese, now Marc-Andre. Definitely won't be having it all his way. But, we're sort of running out of superlatives to describe Busquet's performance in the GPL in these early months. Viewers probably getting a little bit tired of us talking about how great he is, but really, really has got off to a very, very fast start here in this new format.
Almost $7 million in earnings. He is from the USA. Just 3 wins over 78 results, but someone who's had a lot of high finishes in big WPT, WSOP, and of course the European Poker Tour circuit. As a matter of fact, the first EPT I ever went to was Campione in Switzerland, and I believe he got second in that. So someone that, as soon as I came onto the live scene, instantly was in awe of what he was able to accomplish and what he's able to do. Just so much fun to watch, and we've had plenty of them here at the GPL in Season 1.
Yeah, and Maria Ho going with the strategy of if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Just putting Olivier up again and again. Fortunately for her, he didn't go to Monte Carlo, so he has got that availability to continue to play the heads-up matches. And, once again, we'll be looking to maintain his unbeaten start to the season. Yeah,
and obviously an expert at any form of 1v1 combat, whether it's on the felt or in the octagon. Obviously a very, well-publicized, and everyone's been talking about this fight that he just was fresh off winning for a lot of money, so he's coming in with a lot of confidence and a lot of padding in the wallet, and that usually helps when you're playing poker. So he's going to come into this thing expecting to win, and anything less but of 6 or 9 points he will not accept.
Yeah, if this is your first day at the GPL, he is the top scorer, the top point scorer over this first 5 weeks of this new league format. Someone that I think we can safely say spends more time in the lab than in the library, and proving that, even at very short stack steps, 10 and 20 big blinds, there are very, very clear edges to be found if you do your homework and away from the felt.
You might say the antithesis of Todd Brunson, a man who lives in the library and plays from one.
Well, we don't need to be explicit about that.
Yeah, I guess not. Lounge, we're gonna get to you soon, but we have a lot more things that we want to talk about, specifically Olivier Busquet.
Again, yeah. Well, we do keep reiterating the performance of this man, but I think it really does. If anyone had any doubts about the fast structures, and the heads-up format, about whether, it might be a little bit of a crapshoot. He is showing, that there are, as I said, edges to be found.
Yeah.
Proving that, he has a real area of expertise here, and, and turning that edge into points for his franchise. If he hadn't registered so many wins, the LA Sunset really, really would be struggling.
Yeah, so some of you out there who are wondering, who is Marc-Andre Ladouceur? Well, it's a loaded question. He is a beautiful man. He's extremely talented poker player. This is a guy who gets Supernova Elite year after year. Not something people are that excited about getting anymore, Amaya. But someone who definitely, has played a lot of poker over the years. Someone who's always been very, very relevant, constantly getting chips in EPTs, getting deep. He won an EPT high roller at one point as well. So this is a guy that's really all over the place. Love it.
This was obviously one of the things that was most anticipated about the GPL, the chance to see really, really top players who might not ordinarily sit down at a table voluntarily. There was, big money on the line, not huge edges to be found, and a lot of variance when two top poker minds go to war. But GPL providing a format in which, the sporting aspect, putting two, if you like, top seeds up against each other, can become a reality. And that's why a lot of people have tuned in today. For hardcore poker fans and new poker fans, this is a really mouth-watering prospect.
Do you know the story of why he's named French Dog?
I would love to know the
Would
reason.
you? I've gone to dinner with him a couple times.
No.
I swear.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he basically, when he went to Florida for school, he didn't speak much of a lick of English because he's from like Franco, Montreal kind of thing. And when he moved out there for university, people couldn't really communicate with him because he was French, so they called him French Dog.
Wow. Who
The
would
more
have
you
thunk
know.
it?
The more you know.
Story time
here
at the GPL.
The GPL, week 5. We still got stories. We got anecdotes. Anecdotes for days. Days on days on days.
You're going to have to, in the closed season, be going for a lot of dinners to make sure that.
Yeah, I mean, I got to get these things. Like, without this, I mean, how would we fill this wonderful broadcast? Because, with poker, which we're going to get to, are we ready for the lounge, do you think? Should we let them know? There's no lounge. There's just the game, but we're not quite ready. So, yes, so Olivier Busquet, really interesting story about his name.
Sure.
His poker alias is Liv B. Olivier, if you shorten it, it's L-I-V for
like
Liv.
Adonis 112
No,
it's Liv B on.
On Full Tilt.
Oh, maybe. I can't remember.
I remember Handy played actually deep in F-tops. Again, remember the F-tops that Telker won? It was some I forget what it was. But Telker 4-bet called a click with Jack 5 suited and got it in on King Deuce 7 with 2 diamonds, and Liv B just had pocket kings, and they got it in for 100 plus blinds each, and Telks hit a diamond.
Yeah.
And then went on to win a massive score. Just a little anecdote. I was watching that live as a kid. I was just like, oh my God, Liv B. It's very Morpheus versus Neo. So I remember that, Liv. I saw that.
The Montreal Nationals off to a really good start in this league.
Yes.
He is the general manager, and there'll be a real togetherness in that side. Am I right? We often we've been talking about the New York Rounders, about how Bryn's brought together, his boys. Often, some of the guys that maybe he backs or buys pieces of, on a regular basis. But similar sort of feel perhaps to the Montreal Nationals, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a tight-knit community. Marc-Andre really at the forefront of that. He's gone for people he knows. Also, an association with Martin Jakobsen.
Yep, definitely. Martin Jakobsen, obviously someone he's been on the tour with a lot. He was part of his sort of his crew, his contingency, his entourage when he won the main event. So this
maybe got a little swap in.
Maybe got a little swap in.
The sort of cat that might get a swap with Martin Jakobsen.
Yeah, exactly. Marc-Andre, obviously someone I've always been thrilled to swap with. That's right. Marc-Andre used to swap with me
back in the day. That was probably a long while
ago. So long ago. Sorry. Memories are flooding in.
But interesting also that he's taken Pascal Lafrancois. So again,
that's not interesting. That's just an awesome pick. The guy's great.
Yeah, no,
you shall not pass. You shall not pass.
I mean, Griffin.
Let's do a format video. Yeah.
I'm just saying, can Hartigan do impressions like that? I don't think he can. My point was going to be that
he's a British actor.
That Pascal Lafrancois has been playing the heads-up matches for Montreal up to this point.
Playing great too.
And and exactly, playing great. So it's interesting that he's been pulled out. Do you have any insight into the reason? Do you think Marc-Andre just wants to say, hey, I'm a part of this crew as well, get himself into the action?
Yeah,
Or-
I mean,
or
I've
has Pascal
always
got
known Marc to be an
availability issues?
extremely insecure person. It started because he's an ugly duckling. This is a guy. No, of course not. Marc-Andre is a beautiful man with a lot of confidence in all his players, but of course he wants to cut his teeth. He's seeing how much fun Pass is having. He's seeing how much fun Martin's having and all these
Because
sort
we
of
should
things.
say, if Pascal had played as many matches as Busquet, he's another undefeated player in the heads-up format.
Yeah.
He might be rivaling Busquet. That's because that kind of was a match I was a little bit hoping for. Pascal,
Yeah, I mean,
two
well,
undefeated
the thing
players
is, too,
coming
is that the
together.
nature of something like an MVP race is that it's going to be dependent most of the time on, like, the team that wins. Listen, we all know Olivier Busquet is sort of an early favorite for the MVP of Season 1 of the GPL, but the reality is he's on the LA Sunset that is not atop the rankings. So, it's a good opportunity for Marc-Andre to really elevate the Montreal Nationals into the leaderboards, and that really gives a guy like Pass an outside shot at the MVP. We look at Tyler Kenny of the Rounders. He might even be the favorite right now because they're really atop the standings. So yeah, I think that we can go to a format video though while we get ready for this match.
Yeah, we're just Busquet taking a little while to get himself set up with his webcam. Obviously, these guys have so many commitments. We saw that with players in Monte Carlo at the moment. We'll get Joe Chung to get on the blower to him and get him sorted.
Yeah, Joe, can you
sort
please.
that out? But in the meantime, I think they're going to have a format video.
Global Poker League consists of 12 worldwide teams, 6 in the Eurasian Conference and 6 in the American Conference. Each team has a total of 6 players, and the manager of that team may choose whoever they like to play at any time, provided each player on their team plays a minimum of 6 matches across the season. The GPL starts the regular season with 8 weeks of online arena action, which consists of 6 max and heads-up matches. Every Tuesday, all 6 teams from each conference will face off in 2 6-max sit-and-goes. One team in each conference will play as the home team, while the other 5 are away. Home team managers have the ability to pick their players once they have seen the lineup of the away teams. Points will be awarded to all teams competing except for the 6th place finisher per match. First will get 7 points, second 5 points, third 3 points, fourth 2 points, and 5th will get 1 point. Every Wednesday, each of the 6 Eurasian Conference teams will battle in 3 heads-up games against an opponent from another Eurasian Conference team. And every Thursday, each American Conference team will do the same. For heads-up, one team from each matchup will play at home, while the other away. All 3 games will be played, with 3 points awarded per game won and 0 points awarded per game lost, with a total of 9 points available. After the 8 weeks of online arena, live heads-up play will be introduced in the Global Poker League Summer Series in Las Vegas. Teams from GPL's 2 conferences will face off against each other in cross-conference heads-up play in 6 heats across 5 weeks of daily action. Just as in the online arena, during studio heads-up play, they will duel for 3 games, with 9 possible points available per match. After the summer series, the GPL regular season continues, with 6 more weeks of online arena action, after which the 2 teams at the bottom of each conference will be eliminated, and the remaining 8 will advance to the playoffs. The playoffs will see the much-awaited introduction of the Cube, the ultimate poker arena. A 2-day event hosted from an epic venue in North America at the end of September will see 8 teams reduced down to 4 in a completely revolutionary 3v3 format. Finally, the first season of the Global Poker League will conclude its play with the live finals, played from the Cube at the SSE Arena, Wembley, in London, where the champions of each conference will be determined on day 1. And finally, on the grand final on day 2, where the Americas Conference winner will face off against Eurasia's best to determine who will be crowned the Global Poker League champions.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Griffin Benger. This is Sam Grafton. We have a great match coming up. Olivier Busquet of the LA Sunset against Marc-Andre Ladouceur, the manager for the Montreal Nationals.
Yeah, 2 of the top players in the league.
Top blokes.
Obviously, we've talked about Liv B as one of the strongest players in the conference, but Marc-Andre Ladouceur with a great opportunity to make an immediate impact.
And someone who
on
can also
the league.
compete on the best body in the GPL. Both of them just sculpted sex symbols. Let's get to the action. Unfortunately, no deep V-neck shirts quite yet. We just have the avatars, but they will be coming on cam very shortly, I'm sure.
I think Olivier, like so many of the players, other things going on, traveling to I think he's in a hotel perhaps, and relying on someone else's internet.
What a budget, putting people in hotels and the internet doesn't work out. That's great.
And this is one of the notable things about Busquet's game. So many of the slightly less experienced players continuation bet at a very, very high frequency. Busquet protecting his check back range, checking back the middle pair, but Marc-Andre does river a jack. And now Busquet with a decision, with a under-repped fourth pair. Busquet will be considering what better hands he gets to the river with this way.
Sorry for that delay, guys, but both guys were getting a few more crunches and burpees in before the start.
And Busquet finds the fold when he gets outdrawn on the river. Don't think you'll find many players who play the 6-8 like that. Really, really interesting that even though he's shown, in inverted commas, a lot of weakness by just checking back flop and turn, he's still, aware that Marc-Andre can have enough hands to value bet there that the 6-8 isn't a call. And indeed, in this occasion, Marc-Andre did have top pair. Really interesting technical game. And exciting news here, poker fans.
Man,
we do have
so
the French dog,
chiseled.
Marc-Andre Ladouceur.
We will have Busquet in a couple of minutes.
He will literally be with us. Then we will have two poker players for you. And we will be able to take a back seat. Marc-Andre betting out with the king high, forcing his opponent off the queen high.
Base Shark 00 says on Twitch, Busquet has Mike Dentelli arms. I disagree. Mike Dentelli has Olivier Busquet arms. Chicken or the egg, pal? Chicken or the egg?
I think Marc-Andre is going to
got a big challenge today. Everybody talking about Busquet being the early MVP for the league so far.
Hashtag
and
narratives.
given my 6 max on Tuesday, looking to need to score some points here.
Marc-Andre, big GPL fan.
Check calling one street.
Busquet may elect to check back this second pair, having a spade and a very negligible kicker.
Olivier could have had some internet problem. I know they were trying to figure out a hotspot for him in a hotel room, I believe.
Yeah, many would say Marc-Andre's only hope in this match is if Olivier disconnects for the full 20 minutes. I'm just joshing,
1 point,
just
Ladouceur.
joshing, Chief. I'm sure you'll get more than 1 point in this league. Just joshing. Is that constant color up in the chat?
Sure is.
Jason, the comedian Lavallee.
Yep.
Who registered 6 points against Scott Ball. And Busquet does check it back. And it might lead Marc-Andre to think that the 6 is the best hand here. Amazing. Busquet checking it back twice.
he should be calling his. Could probably be betting as low as a 7. Given all this, we're still gonna call.
These are the kind of tough spots Busquet puts players in.
Yeah, 10 makes sense also.
Marc-Andre not initially considering that he could have many 10x. Busquet getting his 1 street of value on the river.
Ace Jack here in a 3-bet.
Wow, all the heroes of Montreal Nationals coming out in the chat. Juan Lu, also a big GPL fan.
Yeah, you know, I think it's important for comradeship to come out of the wings and support your washed-up general manager. I mean, obviously, Mark trying to transition into the managerial role within poker. So many manager jobs out there for poker teams.
Yeah, Marc-Andre's always got modeling to fall back on if poker doesn't work out.
For sure.
So
but you know what? I mean, still getting older. He can't be a day over 30, obviously. And he looks like not a day over 25. But hey, man. Time is a fickle thing. Obviously, Sam and I just joshing around. Marc-Andre, a legend of the game, and one of the few guys that we really think could take down the giant known as Olivier Busquet. And there's the giant himself, looking very giantess. Giantess?
Gigantic.
Jesus Christ, how did I miss that?
Obviously, Griffin, not a native English speaker. A Quebecois.
Going to be check raising some hands lower than the king 10. I think on the turn that can be good some of the time, even after he checks back the flop.
And this is one of the advantages of Busquet's strategy we saw just a moment ago of checking back some stronger hands. Means that this Jack-8 bluff is just that much more believable.
Yeah.
Some of the guys that are C-betting 90 and 85% can't kind of take those lines credibly.
Hey, Sam. Hey, Griffin.
Hey, what's up, bro?
What's up, bruv?
Nice that Busquet gives us a little hello, isn't it?
Makes me feel a little important. Like my voice is being heard, you know?
Whoa.
And amazing run out.
I think if the 7 were like a lower club, I might not try to bet it. I think there aren't too many higher clubs that he would play this way. Maybe like the 8. Maybe the queen's check raise, but I think most of the time he's just has no club and it's a tough call.
Liv B winning the tiny battles, which makes him so good in these early levels.
Marc-Andre flopping best. Top pair. Busquet with not much of anything.
I'm going to want to check some of the kings here. King deuce, really good candidate for that.
And may pay off here as Olivier has now turned a gutter with 2 overs to the 6 and may put some chips in his pot. He does. Great check back here by Marc-Andre. Just has to
Gonna have a
dodge.
lot of ace-high and a lot of
Cinco.
under pairs. We're gonna play this way, so
And it is also
pair of kings is
May
actually
5th, Cinco.
pretty high up.
Cinco de Mayo, I believe.
Karl Marx's birthday.
Oh my.
And
And
Cinco on Cinco de Mayo.
that's hopefully a good river, and a river where Olivier is gonna want to
It's nice to get there.
put a lot of pressure. I rarely have any sevens or deuces here, so we're very happy to get a hand, and he seems like he's downsized a bit, which is surprising. He could probably bet as low as some 2 pairs, I
For some reason,
assume,
when I bet the turn he called, I had a sense that maybe he had
with the
checked
bottom
it.
end of his straight. Just gonna be calling. Could make a point to raise, I think. Oh, well. So that wasn't a good river.
Busquet not betting his hand strength, but his range. I think selecting a sizing there, which is going to allow him to bet 2 pairs also in his value range. Obviously, against the actual hand Marc-Andre had, doesn't extract as much value as he could have. But that, you know, not the only hand he's targeting with the value bet. You're going to see a very strong technical game from both these players. Really interesting to see how it pans out. And seems like we lost Olivier Busquet. I think he's in a hotel somewhere, perhaps having some internet problems. Off to a great start in this match. Obviously, much of it down to that very favourable river card, which gave both of them a straight.
Interesting there, 2.5x from, or some in raise from Olivier with the Queen 10.
Hard to know if Olivier is actually thinking there or still got some problem with the
Not even a 3x
camera.
with the Jack 4 off, getting it through, showing how tough a guy like Marc can be, where Olivier does not feel comfortable peeling with the Bay in position. Guantanamo? Never heard about the Bay?
Griffin Benji, you never cease to stop amusing me and amazing me.
Oh, you're welcome. It means a lot, actually. Marc-Andre flops bets, and TID takes it down.
You're going to hear a wealth of poker vocabulary from the man formerly known, the artist formerly known as Flush Entity.
The player formerly known as Rich. You'll hear a wealth of knowledge now.
And Marc-Andre now picking up a value hand, 3-betting the ace-jack of diamonds. And Busquet obviously releasing the pretty junky 10-6.
Poker Guy Y says that he's amazed pedigree has been said 20 times per day. I don't believe I've ever used that, but perhaps it's a word that Sam Grafton throws around.
Oh, dear. Don't worry, guys. Whatever you're complaining about in the chat, I have said already. Do not worry. Marc-Andre with second pair, Olivier Busquet with the top pair, which he texts back. You saw Marc-Andre do something similar with top pair, king deuce. The players want to keep some top pairs in their check back range. Makes sense to do that with their weakest top pairs that they can't go for value with over
unstable.
multiple streets.
I have a very highly skilled technician working on it right now.
Joseph Chung has been sent to to Olivier Busquet's
yeah, it's
room
back.
to sort this out. If you're not familiar with Joe Chong, finished third in the main event,
Not my
overplaying a
favorite
naked
card to
ace
see on the
for
river,
millions of dollars,
but I
and has
still think I have
since
to value bet an ace.
fumbled and now works in our production room.
Andre trying to work things through, and you can see the tough spots that Olivier puts even top-class opposition in. Marc-Andre not going to get to the river with that many stronger hands than this.
Somehow with my internet disconnections, I'm like not even behind on time. I don't know, maybe are they pausing the time for me?
He's been betting.
Tough spot right here for the
Watch
French
him
tape.
play some. He's been value betting. Big sizing's fairly thin. That could be a good candidate to jam.
So yeah, Marc-Andre not thinking Busquet plays queen-jack like this, and with a queen blocker, he does jam the river.
Oh, he didn't snap us. Should be able to
Beautiful.
get all his one pair ace to fold, as well some potential two pairs.
A bunch of his straight draws he just leads the turn with. I don't know. This is such a weird play. It's a good play though.
Olivier,
I don't know
tip
what
of
to
the
do.
perfectly spiked hair.
I like always fold these spots. It'd be interesting if you just had a hand like 10-9 or 8-9. That would be super thin. But I mean, I feel like he wouldn't do that. I feel like he would just call those hands. Does he have 7-6 and check call? Or Queen Jack and check call?
Yeah, this is
Maybe Queen Jack.
Sounds like this is going to work. Great
Yeah,
great
it's
play
tough.
from French Talk.
yeah, but you see the limitations
Mark's
of it.
kind of gangster, you know.
Busquet not thinking he's going to do this,
I
play
really well this.
6-7 or queen-jack like this. I'd love to see Olivier make the call.
Marc-Andre taking Olivier to the streets here.
Big moment early in this match here. Olivier Busquet betting big on the river with just top pair. Marc-Andre not feeling second pair good enough to call and turning it into a bluff.
Busquet desperately wanting to take him to, where does he want to take him to? To showdown.
Let me just try to figure this out first. I don't know, man. Let's keep playing, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to fold. Brutal. Nice play,
Beautiful
Mark.
play by Marc-Andre Ladouceur. Taking him to the
kinda wanted
streets.
check that river, but maybe I should just
Like a street
call.
youth. Loving it.
All right, let's try it now.
And that gives you an example of the kind of level these guys are on. Marc-Andre, I was thinking he was thinking about whether to call with this particular holding. In fact, deciding whether to turn it into a bluff does make the check raise all in, forcing Busquet off the best hand. And with that move, Marc-Andre regains
Pocket
the chip lead.
nines should be good enough to three bet get in 36B.
Invisible Enigma on Twitch asks, when does the Hold'em X part of the GPL start, making the day of its creator, Maxim Rabinovich?
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
Invisible Enigma, you know who that is.
Him. Yeah, it's another account of a Maxim Rabinovich, right?
No, you know who Invisible Enigma is. Come on.
I don't.
Think of Full Tilt. Think of Poker Legends. Think of Poker Royalty. Think of players that big time the GPL draft.
I'm commentating. Couldn't have been me.
Invisible Enigma,
I
Dylan
really don't
Lindy.
Who? Dylan Lindy?
Yeah, that's what's his name.
Do you
on
think
Full
that that's him actually there,
Tilt.
though?
For sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for sure. Come on, man.
I didn't know that was his full tilt alias. I thought he was just the luck stack thing. I thought it was him and I thought him and Kevin were
Not a great
disconnected
board.
at birth.
You can see
Or
why
what do you call it?
Griffin Benja is a losing player on full tilt. Doesn't do his research.
That's. I was about to correct you, but then I
You should be
realized that I
betting
did
tons of
lose a
hands
lot
here,
of money
but-
on full tilt the last few years.
No, I'm not gonna call with the king. Honestly, I think the internet is fine.
Obviously, 10 high is not good enough to get a showdown, and there's quite a few hands that we can expect him to fold. We're at 20 big blinds now.
Oh, it is plugged in, but it's not. There's no power coming.
Haven't seen
Like there's no power.
Olivier 3-bet jam 2 wide, 20 to 20 big range. Few matches we've seen before were fairly in line.
$8-16, and Marc-Andre with the chip advantage. Looks like he's going to try and take it down pre-flop with this junky hand rather than check behind and take a flop.
He did this earlier with the Jack 4. Maybe it's a particular no equity hand he fancies. Not crazy about it, but hoping that Olivier does not have sort of the top of his limp calling non-get-in range, which he kind of has with King 9 suited, I think.
Yeah,
This is a tough board because
yeah.
I'm gonna be ahead a decent amount of the time. Maybe not that much, but definitely some of the time. And I have some backdoors, but it's also a board he's gonna put a ton of pressure on, like likely.
Yeah, Busquet taking the words right out of my mouth. Not going to have too many ace-X in his limp calling range, whereas Marc-Andre's value range is going to be
Right,
orientated
bluff
around
me.
strong ace-X's.
We got Jack 8.
So hard to steer the King 9 to showdown when Marc-Andre has all the nut hands. And Marc-Andre gets there on the river.
It's like my
Hopefully
bluffs
the
are
check's
still
gonna be
bluffs,
good
and his
enough
bluffs, a lot of them got
Here
Yeah. Olivier just
could
said.
be limp calling a whole lot of 5x, 6x, ace-X also that he would call the flop with and check back turn. Gonna try to put the showdown.
Yeah,
That'll do
that's
it.
so annoying.
Got lucky there.
Really frustrating for Olivier Busquet.
Super well played by Olivier. You can see what makes him so good. So in tune.
But it is Marc-Andre who is off to a strong start here. At 8-16, 3/4 of the chips in play. Marc-Andre flopping best with bottom pair. Two real titans of the game in action here. And Busquet does jam the ace-jack off, keeping some very strong hands in that open jamming range. Often these players that have done a lot of work on protecting their limping and jamming ranges, we're going to limp and trap with some of the suited combos of ace-jack and open jam offsuit ones.
Don't disconnect.
And I believe we're going to take this spot against him. Flip for it. Get a chance to win one. Well, got easy decision.
Liv considering maybe making this call. It's obviously not super fun, but he knows that Mark would shove a hand like Jack 10. You know, maybe Queen 9 off.
Yeah, this is right on
some
the cusp.
5-6 suited.
Wonder how deep of a
7,
call he
8
thinks he
suited.
needs to make there.
He is stone flipping against the pocket twos, especially
He's
without the
limping.
spade blocker from Mark. So I think it's almost a stone 50-50. Actually, yeah, it is.
Value
50-50.
limping maybe, just not good enough to
Wow, both so
call
in
the
tune.
shove.
Both so
And
attractive.
this could be the moment for Marc-Andre. 7-8 suited, shoves all in. Busquet calls, and it's a flip.
All right, you got to flip.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
8 or 7. Some hearts.
A jack would get it done
A
also.
jack.
Don't know if a match has ever been won by 8 high. And there is the 7.
7.
Disappointment
There, we got one.
in the expression of Olivier
Got lucky
Busquet.
there.
Delight for Marc-Andre Ladouceur and the Montreal Nationals.
All right, little break.
Marc-Andre Ladouceur right out the gate, completely fed up with the 1-point Ladouceur nickname, instantly getting a win against the toughest competition in the league.
Yeah, as we like to call him here, 4-point Ladouceur with the win, and really, really delighted, you know, to make a small dent on Olivier Busquet's reputation and secure 3 points for the franchise that he manages.
Yeah, and you know, he was all in and at risk at one point in this match. He was facing a big bet on the river, live on a particular range, which was the naked ace, decided that he was losing, but that he could still win the pot and get those 9,800 chips that were put in the middle. Excellent, excellent reader of the situation. Really goes to show, as Olivier said, Mark's a bit of a gangster.
Yeah,
And really took him to the streets there. And for someone that's been working on takedowns, Olivier couldn't get to showdown.
Yeah, it was a very gangster play. Olivier was very, very suspicious. Really kind of felt that if Marc-Andre had any of the straights, which are going to make up a large chunk of his value range in that spot, he would lead those draws on the turn. But on the other hand, felt that perhaps Marc-Andre, such a boss, could do it with 2 pair.
Yeah.
And, you know, Busquet himself didn't have any of the relevant blockers. Didn't block the 6-7, didn't block the Queen Jack. I think he's going to want to pick Ace-X, which has, you know, one of those cards as kicker to make up his calling range, sticking to his theoretical approach, which after all has won in millions in this very format. Made the fold despite the suspicion. Great play by Marc-Andre. Busquet didn't make the call, and you know that really put the game and the momentum in Marc-Andre's favor.
You gotta ask the question though. Does Marc-Andre get away with it against General Mike Leah? No freaking chance.
Mike Leah.
The General will call you up right away. He's
100%.
going to take you right to showdown. This is General
if
Leah
you were playing
talking
against
about.
someone with 100% calling record
Walter
on
White,
the river,
he gets every damn last dollar.
He wouldn't have got away with
Yeah.
it. But, you know, this match lived up to what we expected.
Lived up. That's
Yeah,
good.
lived up to what we expected. 2 top poker minds going to battle. Lots more to come. Let's go over to the lounge and see where that leaves us with the standings.
Well, congratulations to Marc-Andre Ladouceur of the Montreal Nationals winning the first game of the match there against LA Sunset's Olivier Busquet. Definitely Olivier was the favourite there, and we were kind of secretly hoping after a poor start to the week that Marc-Andre was able to pick up a few points, and he managed to do it.
Yeah, obviously much more skilled than the 1 point he produced in the first 2 games. Now he's got 4, and I think this is a big win. I really do think there was a lot of pressure he put on himself, knowing Marc-Andre. He does not like to lose, and in the way that it happened on Tuesday, I'm really sure that this might be trouble for Busquet. I think there's a lot of confidence in Ladouceur now, knowing that Busquet played really well, but was able to make a few moves that Olivier was not expecting. So it should be a fun second game.
You could see he was visibly irked. He even had to tell everyone at home. He said, you know, I'm not very happy. I only picked up 1 point this week. And, you know, it's good. It's good that he's able to pick up those first 3 points. But will he get the next 6 points? If Olivier Busquet has anything to do with it, I suspect it won't be easy.
Olivier Busquet has never lost a heads-up match in total, so it'll be interesting to see what happens now. Could tonight be the night that the mighty Busquet goes down? Could he go down 3-0?
Oh, can you imagine if Marc-Andre sweeps Busquet?
I could imagine, and drinks will be served at Marc-Andre's bar in Montreal, that's for sure.
That would be great. Can we maybe do the show from there one night?
Sure, that's an hour and a half from my house.
We'll just
Laura.
we'll pick up the show and make it like a traveling show, traveling GPL show.
I think we should. Let's go to Vegas in 3 weeks.
That's a really good idea. Now, if you are just joining us, we are into week 5 of the Global Poker League. It is just online action that you are watching here. At the moment, every Tuesday, you watch 6 max matches. Every Wednesday, you watch heads-up matches from the Eurasian Conference. There are 6 teams in the Eurasian Conference. And on Thursday, you watch action from the Americas Conference. That's heads-up action as well. 6 teams there as well. But, as we mentioned, we're going to Vegas at the end of these 8 weeks, where it's going to be live action and it's going to be cross-conference action, which makes it very exciting.
Yeah, it'll be fun, both the combination of having live play and having matchups that it's the only time this year we'll be able to see, so that'll be interesting to see as well. Interesting to see how those managers will deal with something a bit different, right? We're starting a little different. Something we need to note, Laura, is as of tonight, every team in the conference will have played each other, so that's important. That's the first leg, 5 matches played. So it's interesting. Every team has seen every other team heads up play. We'll have to see how that changes starting next week, where teams will start playing each other for the second time around.
I definitely think some players will be more fearful of others. We're going to head back to the boys now, back to the desk, to Griffin and to Sam, and let's get going with this very next game of the second match of the evening.
Thanks, Laura. Boy 1, Boy 2, Boy Wonders, GPL. Week 5, great matchup here between Olivier Busquet and Marc-Andre Ladouceur.
Great wordplay there, as always, from my co-host, Griffin.
All improv, if you can believe it.
Griffin completely unscripted. You wouldn't believe it. Lots more to come. You know, when we see Olivier Busquet play, we can always expect a thrilling contest. But Marc-Andre Ladouceur proving more than a match for the LA Sunset Hotshots. Be interesting to see if Busquet gives us his thoughts on Marc-Andre's ambitious bluff on the river with the Queen 10. Lots more to go for. Busquet's unbeaten record is at risk.
Yeah, one of my most fun things about the GPL so far is listening to Liv B talk about what he's seen on the broadcast 10 minutes earlier. So hopefully he will give us some of that here.
I just saw Mark bluff me with Queen 10, and it's like super frustrating because I'm like talking through the reasons for a call and then I fold. It's ridiculous. Strong play though. He won the game, so. Oh well.
These two teams, of course, only separated by 2 points in the conference. So a win for San Francisco Rush would put them ahead of Montreal, or Montreal can extend their lead.
We still have a hand that we can bet on the turn here.
Busquet with top pair, Marc-Andre with a gut shot, and Queen High is going to be best against certain portions of Busquet's range. And in she blows for Marc-Andre Ladouceur.
Just cooler.
Marc-Andre taking Liv B to the bay.
And I'm gonna check.
See some boats, but mostly some broadways.
That I like. I think this one's
Hopefully he checks back some aces on turn, or can make some 2 pairs on river.
And he does have exactly one of those hands.
And this is going to be some great meta game here when he faces the check raise to probably more than 11,000 chips from Marc-Andre here.
Maybe even 12, yeah.
Do you want to try to predict the number? I know you hate when I do that.
It's going to be 12K probably. 12,
I'll take
12
the
and a half.
over. I'll take 12-8.
You just said 11.
Yeah, no, but because I wanted you to. So we're
Pretty
playing
much
the line
tanking
game.
to balance here.
Okay,
I know
Marc-Andre.
exactly what we're going to do.
Taking his time.
12-8, 12-8.
Wonder if I can use any other sizing than this one, but I think this one.
Baby. Ooh.
11-7. Here's the
The
number.
shirt off my back.
Olivier
Could've
Busquet
gone
in
a
exactly
little
the
bigger.
same spot. Value betting, top pair, no kicker, on the river, and getting check raised.
All right. I mean, it's like my problem is I'm not sure if he knows what I saw. That I don't know what that means really, but I guess he could have like queen 10. I don't think he would like. I don't think there are that many other hands he would do that with.
Olivier Busquet,
Hoping that Olivier won't be thinking I have too many value hands I would play this way and a whole lot of busted flush draw backdoors with one Broadway that could turn. To have the Queen of Diamonds,
It's like fold the wrong
very good for me.
time.
What he means by that is he could have a hand like
Someone on
Queen
front
5 of
spot.
diamonds floating the flop to have some backdoor outs, and he does make the call.
Yeah, that makes sense.
thing is isn't Marc-Andre just, yeah, I suppose Queen High can win at showdown. And Busquet making the call on the river, made the fold last time,
And the
and
problem is again,
Marc-Andre
his just value range is so narrow.
off to a fast start.
And the great thing about poker is that, you know, sometimes you follow a guy, you think he's
Yes.
Superman, and then another superhero shows up, and you go, wow, he can play too. And that's really what we're seeing here with the emergence of Marc-Andre Ladouceur.
Busquet turns the flush.
And you
Is
can
this a
see-
value bet or a check call?
And you can see
I
how even
think.
the best players in the world, when
I
they
don't
make
know.
a mistake and they find out that, well, not a
Yes,
mistake, but
check
when they
call.
make a, you know, the wrong decision in relation to what the person had, how it can affect them in a similar spot later. Certainly can't blame Olivier for folding the first time and calling the next, but that's been the big swing of both of these matches so far. Marc-Andre with a huge early advantage here.
Other than some 7x, I don't see what. I'm not even sure he's gonna fold an ace to any sizing there. Could be missing a bet, but
Good discipline there by Marc-Andre. I don't think Liv was going to fold that flush. Huge flop for both players. Top pair for Marc-Andre with the queen kicker. Olivier with mid pair. Backdoor nut flush draw. Backdoor baby straight. Little wheel. A card that does not change the board texture
oh,
tremendously.
he didn't show the king six suited earlier. That's what he was tanking with.
Really interesting to see if Olivier can find a fold here based on the sizing mark if he decides to bet. He does elect to check, and very disciplined check back by Olivier with the best possible 5. The butchers. Olivier heading to the butcher shop and walking away with nothing but a small blind. Another action-packed flop here where Marc-Andre flopping best. Tree of a kind.
Man, that's a bad card.
Yeah, Olivier recognizing that when Marc-Andre doesn't have an ace, often he has king high. In this case, may well save Olivier some chips. Interesting that when you think something's a bad card and it's actually a good card.
He should be betting something high on the flop that he's checking back the turn with. Wonder how big of a sizing I can go, but on the other end,
Other two very playable hands here at the 4-8 level. Marc-Andre with the wace, the wheel ace.
And this match, you know, very different from some of the matches we saw yesterday when people were distracted. Two highly focused individuals here. Obviously, you don't get where these guys have got in the game without having
Normally I would just call here, but I
very
think
competitive.
Mark c-bets too much, which means that his average hand is
decides
like
to bet here,
weaker than it should be.
checking back.
So I get more value from check raising with bluffs or semi-bluffs.
5, 6, 7, 6 hand with one spare turn him into a bluff, or we're not killing our equity too much.
I also think there's a decent number of ace-high hands that will call the flop and then fold the turn.
Both just so in tune to what their ranges are. It's just really, it's just absolutely awesome to watch.
The real risk is that he has a bigger flush draw, and then I'm in a lot of trouble. But he could also easily have a worse flush draw, in which case I'll be in good shape.
We're gonna peel one, though that's got to be very marginal.
And Marc-Andre indicating he will continue with exactly the kind
5
of
of
hand
spades for jokes.
Busquet was targeting. And now Olivier picks up a gut shot to go with his queen 9.
Olivier really repping
representing
thin.
a ton of value, but there are definitely some hands I could have.
Would love to see a shove and a call here. Olivier opting to bet half pot.
And Marc-Andre folds the best hand. Olivier Busquet's plan working to absolute perfection.
Need to have at least a pair somewhere
Against that particular holding.
So tough to grind down, Olivier.
And Busquet mentioning something I do think is common of a lot of GPL players. Such high c-bet percentages from the majority of players in this format. And
one of the rare second pair hands that I bet.
Busquet chipping away a little bit at Marc-Andre's chip advantage. And not many cash game players can find a fold with 9, 10 of hearts in position. Obviously, stack depth's shallower than Marc-Andre would like, but he does call and flop best.
A little something for everyone here. Bottom pair and a backdoor flush draw for Mark. Gutter and a backdoor flush draw for Busquet.
His spot is just so much better for my range. And if he calls down, like he calls down. I don't love this card. Obviously, it's like one of the worst cards to see.
Hard for him to continue here.
Busquet indicating he
Nobody
was
can actually
gonna
bet
treble
on
off.
turn for value there. If he's even betting some queen X on the flop. A hard time seeing him continuing with his ace X with a bet on the turn, so polarizes him so much. Wow, and I had a feeling he'd bet.
Sick. Sick, sick, sick.
Real tough spot for Marc-Andre now. 2 pair. But his backdoor flush draw has gone. No straight draws developed.
Such a tough
Play these
spot
spots
because
and
Mark knows he's
overpassively.
drawing dead. Against the
It's
value
like they
range
see a
there.
bad card for their range, so they just automatically check.
Make it very appealing to call there.
Such a shame we lost Busquet there. Would have loved to have heard his insight into why he chooses to bet there. As Busquet was saying, Queen in general, a bad card for the 3-better there. Ace King, Ace Jack and such like forced to slow down. Perhaps he'll recap his thoughts for us later. So, stacks almost level. 2 top poker minds, toper minds, going to work on each other.
Hey, a walk. It don't happen often.
One.
Yeah, like I could have had King Jack or Ace Queen or even King Queen or pocket 10s or pocket aces. Like there are some monster hands that I am times with, so you need to have at least some bluffs.
There it is.
Yeah, thank you
Well,
for that,
well
Olivier.
spoken.
Busquet picking the Queen Deuce as a hand to 3-bet here. And Marc-Andre not instantly releasing, you will notice.
He bet 8-4 on the first hand.
And 4 bets.
There you go.
Busquet instantly folding.
Olivier has to know I'm going to be 4-betting maybe a little wider than usual versus him.
Oh yeah, okay, he had 2 pair. Yeah, that makes sense, obviously.
Again, you'll notice Busquet controlling his continuation bet frequency, not stabbing with the king high.
Be hoping to take this one to showdown. Hopefully he
Taking it to
checks back some hands like
2-4 like that. I mean,
King 8.
there's some hands that I have worse than this, but there aren't too many. I like him to fold some better kings and ace highs and maybe like pocket 3s or something.
Such subtlety to the way Busquet constructs his
Hey there.
range.
Nothing subtle about the Admiral Akbars. It's a trap.
You know, that one might actually take off. And Busquet, fortunate to not flop strongly here. And Marc-Andre's continuation bet takes down the pot. If you're joining us late, we have Marc-Andre Ladouceur, the manager of the Montreal Nationals and a high-stakes cash game hero, against Olivier Busquet of the LA Sunset, a heads-up specialist. These teams 3rd and 4th in the Americas Conference. Whoever wins the most matches here will nudge their franchise in front of the other one in this conference. And Marc-Andre turning 2 pair.
These are unenviable spots. Just like you're at the bottom of your range.
Great
pretty much,
river.
but still.
see.
Too strong to fold.
Yeah, very low EV check call there on the turn, but Busquet forced to make it so that he doesn't get run over by Marc-Andre.
You'd expect him to lead out a lot of kings on the turn, so by the river, he's stuck with a lot of one pairs.
Marc-Andre recognizing Busquet's range is pretty capped in the spot.
Can you?
Picking a big sizing for value and also
Obviously, he could still
would
have
do
some
the same with his bluffs.
big hands. Like
But
play.
Busquet doesn't even think about it and folds. 2-1 chip advantage, sorry, 3-2 chip advantage now for Marc-Andre.
I think so, yeah. You're not watching, are you?
Busquet just calling with the king-queen.
I think this is like an interesting spot. It would have been an interesting spot to check raise. Ugh, the ace on the river. That's like not a fun card.
We're both playing the board most of the time. They'll have a whole lot more of ace-x, but he still has all the 8s and 7s.
Busquet connecting with this board very strongly, as you can see, and will bet it for value. Marc-Andre considering whether it's an ace high he has to call with, and he does. A little bit loose, I
So
think.
even though I have a ton of equity, I don't think
Like I'm
this is a
supposed to
spot
check
bet
call
again.
flop there, but I'm always in a shitty spot on the turn.
This is a terrible run out.
I'm not gonna get to the river with too many
This
worse
is one of
hand
the
than this.
stronger hands that I get to.
He could be betting some
I don't know how often it's just
queens on the
bluffing
flop,
here,
but also a whole lot of other
especially with
things
5.
that I'm beat by now.
So I think this might just be a fold.
Seven's a
Really
good card to have.
interesting. Marc-Andre with a 7 of hearts in his hand, going to use this as a prompt to bluff the river. Most of his ace-x has made a pair or has a little bit more showdown value than this. Fires the river.
It's a weird spot. I think it's just a fold.
Busquet does fold the
How much I
best
can
hand.
actually get him to fold. Also
Beautiful play there from
bluff with the
Marc-Andre.
best hand here quite a bit, but
Really interesting to watch these guys at work. Marc-Andre going for the delayed continuation bet with the junkie 7-9. So much harder in some ways to call with the king high on the turn rather than on the flop, but
Yeah.
Busquet does call and improves, hypothetically at least, on the river.
But the problem is I think he would check back a bunch of aces. But I don't think he should. Yeah, okay.
was hoping to get some king eyes to fall on the turn.
I might
Maybe
have
that's
just gotten lucky
optimistic
with
though.
other rivers, but decided not to bluff that river because a lot of my hands are king high on the turn. But
checking 3-3 boards this shallow.
Both players turning a gut shot. You can see Olivier Busquet has 93% of the equity in this pot. But facing a real challenge out of position because Marc-Andre probably not going to fold.
Sounds like he might be tapping out a little raise-a-thon.
Yeah, pretty sick.
We're going to raise.
Yeah. One of the weakest draws he has, electing to turn it into a bluff here and now.
It's a dangerous play for him. I guess there's not much I can do with this hand.
Yeah, we haven't seen this from Marc-Andre as of yet in the match. The raise in position after flop check back. Not a huge amount of hands you're going to want to do that with for value. But Busquet does fold far and away the best hand. Exactly the kind of hand Marc-Andre is targeting with that raise.
I'm going to have to get lucky.
Amazing to see Olivier, you know, the heads-up matches he's had have been against such tough opponents, but Marc-Andre really showing he ain't just no manager.
15 bigs.
One of the things that's interesting about Busquet is I feel like he doesn't care about timing tells because he knows his ranges so well that he knows he's going to check call immediately with it. Do you know what I mean? He can make every decision snap because he's been in these spots so much more that rarely does he need to tank.
What I do.
And Marc-Andre, aware that Olivier doesn't have too many ace high when he checks back, so he's going for protection and value on the turn. Does get it, but Busquet rivers the flush.
Yeah.
Really, really good turn bet for Marc-Andre against
that
that particular hand.
Big spot here.
I don't normally limp this hand. I just feel like he has been just
see an all-in and a call, guys.
Over-aggressive in spots.
Just
like
warning you.
Yeah.
This type of spot.
Busquet picking up on that Jack-4 off raise from Marc-Andre.
All in.
We are going to flip for it here.
I mean, at 20 bigs, I don't know what I'm saying. I do normally limp this hand.
Marc-Andre calls.
All right. Doing a race. Man.
Good board. Good flip.
This has been brutal.
Wow. Moaning it in. Olivier Busquet.
I got a shot.
Moaning it in here, guys. You've got to moan to the dealer if you want to get your turn set.
Sick turn card.
Poor Olivier, only crushing in the GPL, bemoans his luck and rewarded with a 5. And now Marc-Andre down to 10 big blinds. Huge spot in this match.
I think once he raises with King Jack suited, he definitely has to call. So don't pick up a hand. So
and Marc-Andre with a tough spot limps the deuce 6 of hearts. And Olivier attacks with the queen 3 off.
a lot of people would be surprised that I have a ISO folding range with 10 bigs, but I do.
Really interesting stuff. Marc-Andre with a hand he can jam.
Yeah, we're
It's the
going to
best
be in.
kind.
And Marc-Andre calling with the suited 10-9.
Alright, king ball. Let's go.
Need some help.
Wow. Action flop.
3.
Any 9, 10, or an 8. And Marc-Andre fights another day for the French army.
Flush for
Good
Busquet.
game.
3 points for the
All right.
LA Sunset.
1-1.
2 great poker players tied at 1 game apiece.
Amazing how it can turn on a dime as Olivier crawls back into bed there. Yeah, I mean, you know what it reminds me of, really? Just the way it's like back and forth. Anything can change. Close plays at the plate, you know, just like off the post. It's like sports, bro. It's great.
So many sporting metaphors from my co-host, Griffin, Flush Entity, Benja. Really exciting poker there. You know, and real two determined poker players eager to get one over on their opponent and score some points for the franchise.
Yeah.
So great to see. We saw it yesterday with Mike Leah and Anatoly Filatov as well. These guys, you know, when they put themselves in this arena in front of the viewing public, so determined to put on a show, you know, to demonstrate their craft, and these guys really doing that. Fantastic poker.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I think that, you know, we can fall victim to, or at least people will criticize us for, you know, talking and, you know, in hyperbolic ways about how good these players are. But this is really a match, honestly, that if you want to learn how to play really good heads-up poker, the way that they talk about ranges and all these different things, I mean, these guys really know what they're talking about. I mean, this is a match that I'm going to recommend all my, you know, former colleagues and the like, friends that are interested in this sort of thing. This is great poker from Marc-Andre Ladouceur and Olivier Busquet. I wasn't entirely sure what to expect. I've always known that Marc is an incredible poker player, but he's super sharp right now. I don't know what you think.
Of course. I mean, to compete in the high-stakes cash games, 5-10 and such like, that Marc-Andre
now that the rake back isn't as good,
yeah,
too.
Exactly. As French dog, you know, you have to really be on top of your game. Both guys that we can see have done their homework away from the table, practicing their craft in expert manner. And I think the guys in the lounge are going to tell us what that means for the standings.
You got to feel a little bit sorry for Marc-Andre Ladouceur there. He looked so good to take that down, and then it just all changed.
Yeah, that's fine. I think he's going to be happy nonetheless. He's playing really well, and I think Busquet is going to be really, I don't know how much they've played each other before, but I think Busquet will be really impressed by the way Marc-Andre has been playing.
Yeah, well, as the guys were saying, they were both impressed, and if they impress them, well, they're good, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Marc-Andre is a very talented player. We look at his live results compared to Busquet, they're not as glamorous, but as the boys have mentioned quite a few times, Marc-Andre definitely an online catch game player, firstly, but seems to be doing fairly well in the GPL as well.
So 3 points there go to Olivier Busquet and to the LA Sunset, who, despite Busquet being extremely great at these heads-up matches and getting a lot of points for the side, the team not doing so great in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, Busquet has 30 of those points. 30, I think they're up to 48 now. So 30 of 48 points is absolutely ridiculous. And with the talent on that team, it's almost unforgivable. Boy, you've got to imagine, Laura, if those other players, Fedor Holtz comes to mind, one more
He
points.
should be coming to play next week.
Yeah, but I mean, he's played 3 times already, and he's just not been as successful as he's wanted to be. You'd think that team would be, but I mean 3 matches, I meant. But you'd think that this team would be really in first place, but they're not because it's just been the Busquet show.
It has indeed. Well, there is one more game to go in this matchup. And as we said, Olivier Busquet has never lost a heads-up match. He's always won either 2-1 or he's got the clean sweep. So this is going to be telling if Marc-Andre can manage to do this tonight.
Yeah, he was 1 card away from losing his first ever match in the GPL, and that's not happened. You've got to you have that feeling that the momentum is on his side now. Got a little lucky in the end, although he did get sucked out in that same hand, but got a little lucky. Probably will want to one-up Marc-Andre, but really a high-quality match once again. It shouldn't be surprised that Busquet is coming out with these matches. I think he is making his opponents rise up to the competition as well. So I think that's why most Busquet matches this year have been so good is that the quality of the competition is there, but they're also trying to up their game, wanting to defeat the man that has yet to lose in the GPL.
And you get the feeling Marc-Andre is really at the top of his game right now. So if anyone can do this, he probably can do it.
We talked about Mike Lea having a quiet confidence. Marc-Andre is the exact same person, very confident, but very quiet about that. He was very upset to having received only 1 point or garnered only 1 point on Tuesday. And you'll remember when he gets eliminated in 5th position in that match, so upset and really upset at himself, having put himself in that situation. So he is absolutely looking for 6 points tonight.
We will find out soon who is going to win this match, who is going to take this equalizer between Olivier Busquet of the LA Sunset and Marc-Andre Ladouceur of the Montreal Nationals. But don't forget...
Just one more thing on that, Laura. We're 2.5 weeks from the World Series of Poker. For these players, there's bragging rights on the line. Marc-Andre wants to win this match so he can see Olivier each and every day in Las Vegas and remind him who just won that last battle. So there's that going on as well. I think Kitty Kuo and Jonathan Little will be a great one too, because if Kitty should win, I'm sure she'll make sure to remind Jonathan in the hallways of the Rio each and every day. So that's going to happen at this point. You know, we're so close to the World Series. A lot of these rivalries will form just because of where we're going next.
I wonder how many new bags Kitty's going to buy with her GPL points.
She enjoys the bags.
Well, that match is coming up just a little bit later. It's our last and final match of the evening here at the Global Poker League, as we said it. Jonathan Little, a late substitute for Jake Cody, who was supposed to be playing for the Las Vegas Moneymakers. That's Chris Moneymaker's team. We saw Chris in action on Tuesday night as well. He didn't fare that well. I think he was a little distracted from his kids' arrival home from school.
Yeah, funny enough that he was eliminated the very next hand after the kids arrived, so it almost looked like he had to take care of the children, promised the wife
he probably blamed it on that, even if it wasn't that.
That's right. I think let's go with that one.
Yeah, let's go with
Jonathan Little has played one heads-up match, and he's won it, so he's already doing really well. So we'll have to see if he can continue that streak. And Kitty Kuo has obviously a 6-max victory this year, so 2 people that have won their last match. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Indeed, it's not long now. Jonathan Little versus Kitty Kuo. So stay with us here at the Global Poker League for that. But for now, there is one last game in this second match of the day. Olivier Busquet facing off against Marc-Andre Ladouceur.
Thanks, Laura. Liv B banking some 5s on May the 5th. We saw it earlier with the straight over straight in that first match. We saw it there, all in pre-flop. His 5s against the King Jack of Marc-Andre Ladouceur. Cinco on the turn, and then of course just finish him off, dip into the bed, little chill time with the lady, loving that. This is Sam Grafton, I'm Griffin Benger, and this is the final match of the night. Yeah. Well, not the final match of the heat match.
Two amazing exponents of the art of poker here. A match.
The sport of poker. Sorry.
The match really, we had to hype it for a long time because of Busquet's technical difficulties. But fortunately for us, it has lived up to that hype. Both players putting on a show. Because margins are so small, having to eke out EV wherever they can find it. Marc-Andre turning second pair into a bluff, ace high into a bluff. Busquet going for thin value bets where he can find them. Lots to play for.
Lived up to the hype, you clever bastard. Here they are.
All right, we're back.
Marc-Andre. Do you think this is where Marc-Andre lives? I mean, what kind of life? I don't know whether you've ever seen.
All right, game 3, we need it.
But it don't look like this. It's pretty sick.
I've been to his place. It's beautiful. It's nice.
Tastefully furnished.
Went for a Christmas sort of dinner with some friends and some cocktails, some casuals.
Loving it.
Christmas Eve casuals.
So, 3 points apiece. This match also worth 3 points, but any ties in the conference, it would come down to most wins, and I'm sure Olivier Busquet is determined to maintain his undefeated record in the Global Poker League. And I'm sure Marc-Andre Ladouceur eager to make his presence felt.
Yeah.
Olivier Busquet's eyebrows, the talk of the Twitch chat. Very prominent. Oh, that's Sam Abernathy, I think, isn't it? Oh, fantastic. His eyebrows very prominent, right in the camera, very beautiful.
Take a shot.
Bouch Preds 8884 says Olivia went to the barber for his eyebrows and said, "Give me a gut shot." 7 out of 10.
Marc-Andre picking up the boots.
I don't know if 8-5 is a call, actually. No, I think maybe.
Chip in a chair remarks, I saw Olivier in person yesterday, and I think his face looks pretty good, considering what it looked like after the fight, which was just sweaty, because he dominated that fight.
Card not great for my range, and good for his range.
Marc-Andre going to continue to look for
fold
value
here.
with the 2 aces. And Busquet giving it up.
The Akbars for Marc-Andre, taking it down.
Two players that really embraced the Global Poker League.
For sure.
Busquet, you know, really taking ownership over his role in the LA Sunset, playing a lot of matches and interacting with the fans, putting on a strong webcam game. Marc-Andre also obviously so proud to be the manager of Montreal Nationals.
Yep.
I'm sure we're going to see lots from him in the coming weeks and months. You
It's
know,
on you, buddy.
as I said, someone that is very, very articulate on
Very cool to see
one of topics.
Sam Abernathy hanging out with Olivier Busquet. She's been crushing the poker scene lately. A big score in Aussie Millions. Got a great Twitch game. Big following. I'd like to personally thank her for accepting my Facebook friend request, despite the fact we've never met. Figured 2 captains of industry should connect. So thank you, Samantha.
Griffin, Benja, always networking.
ABN.
Yeah.
Always
If
be
you're a
networking.
high stakes poker tuning in, expect
And we haven't had dinner yet.
expect a Facebook request in the near future, following, you know, in the tradition of the captain of the GPL, Alex Dreyfus. We like to make Facebook connections.
The Professor X of the GPL.
Check back this one.
Griffin, you might get fired. I don't know whether you
Bink.
can say that.
Why can't I say that?
Oh,
He's
man.
the leader of the X-Men. I bought him one of those little pop things today of Professor X.
This is why they mute us. Oh, my days. I'm sorry. Okay.
I don't know
Busquet
if I make this
taking
play.
a
I just feel
stab.
like his check back range might be skewed on a board
mid-set.
like this. I could be wrong though, because he is good. So it might be on a limb. Wow, it's the second time he's made this type of raise. I mean, both times I don't really have much to call with, but I'm not really a huge fan of that raise. But maybe he just happens to have a couple hands that make sense with bluffs for value.
I think what Olivier is talking about there is very difficult to
Maybe
balance
just
your
thinks I have
range
the lead.
when you opt to raise in position. Complicates the game tree somewhat.
Olivier Busquet with the double down hand against the Empire Strikes Jacks.
And Busquet once again catching a piece, but less than 1% to win this hand. Needs running 8s. But does feel obligated to call one. And Marc-Andre is going to really hope Olivier has a queen here. Considering his options, what size?
Decent turn for me, right?
Yeah. And Busquet, too savvy, immediately folds, recognizing going to have stronger hands where the 8 plays, or an 8 which can make a straight, and obviously so much queen X. As we've said, margins in this match are going to be so fine. 2 top-class players in a fast heads-up structure. Obviously came down to a flip in the last match. Going to probably need that or some kind of cooler situation. And Marc-Andre checks back the ace high.
Such a beautiful hand, ace queen of diamonds, and then you just get the 10-9-7 double heart.
Man.
Rivering top pair.
So good. Nope.
Special shout out to Max Rabinovich with the great pun on the GPL stream. Liv Busquet, or rhyme rather. Liv Busquet versus Marc-Andre. Not too shabby. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. Poetry here at the Global Poker League 5 weeks in.
5 weeks in the season, quarter of the way through, third of the way through.
A third of the way through,
And
according to our stats man, Eric
Stars
Denny.
Bets taking, putting out odds on whether Griffin Benja will make it through to the final week. Get some money on it after his recent comments.
The Deadpool, if you will. Did you see Deadpool? You're not a big Marvel guy, are you?
No, not me. Such focus on the faces of these two guys. Really would be a feather in the cap for either one of them. Marc-Andre flopping third pair, top kicker. Busquet turns a pair as well. Now no need to bluff with the 4-5. Sam Abernathy laughing at your comments in the background there, Griff.
Whoops. It's interesting that he didn't bet that 7 for value. It was like the nut 7, right? I guess that type of distinction between betting for value and assuming he's going to call if I bet is like trying to evaluate whether I'm more likely to have a hand and then to call with a hand that I can call with, or if I'm more likely to bluff. Those are those in-between spots that you just, you know, the math is not that different either way, so you try to make a decision based on your opponent's tendencies. And those are some of the big differences between like somebody who like plays well and somebody who really can maximize his edge.
Busquet dropping some knowledge. Big fan of that. Obviously, Busquet specializing in heads-up hyper turbos and turbos. A format where margins are so small that you have to, as he phrased it, maximize your edge. You know, 2 top heads-up players trying to beat the rake in 5K hypers. You've got to eke out EV wherever you can.
Beating the rake, if you're not aware, getting harder and harder to do. Supersonic, no more. You know they got rid of the 162 in the second chance too. Don't exist.
They've got rid of them, yeah.
I'm gonna 4-bet here.
And Olivier Busquet 3-betting the 10-3 suited, not going to work out in this instant.
I decided to 3-bet less, a more value-based range here. That doesn't mean I'm only going to 3-bet for value. And he might still 4-bet, even though my 3-bet range is like stronger. But with this hand, it's just like, man, there's just not too much I think it makes sense to do.
Jerry
Now
Doyle on the Twitch stream says, I don't care that you're gay, I just want to hear how attracted you are to the players, that's all. And if everyone can talk about the grills, I
bluffs now, yeah. I just think one play in the context of the limited amount of time that we are playing together can change the dynamic enough that I can like change my range pretty quickly. It's like I'm just going to 3-bet this hand now.
Olivier Busquet, I always talk about how sort of theory-based he is, but articulating that he will make fast adaptations to seize on and exploit imbalances in his opponent's game. And in this instance, he gets peeled by Marc-Andre. And one of the problems, obviously, with 3-8 off is does not flop well in general. Marc-Andre
I
feeling
think especially
I
the way
check
he
back there
plays.
so often.
If he bets here,
Almost always have to check back there. Well, there's probably something to say to. And I'll just almost never bet some sevens.
Great work so far in this third match by Marc-Andre Ladouceur. 7-3 edge here, approximately. On Twitch, seriously serious, floating around. Famous for his YouTube videos.
and Busquet turning a set after he was outflopped by the rather unpromising 9-4 off. He's really going to be hoping Marc-Andre has a 6-5, 6-7, 4-7 type
Yeah,
hand.
this is really big.
Olivier going to the beach and finding 3 crabs.
Pretty.
1.5x. Definitely knows how to put us in some tough spots. Awesome.
Seriously serious remarking, it's Olivier Busquet. Please show some respect. Not actually how it's pronounced, but if Olivier was a biscuit, I would dip him into my coffee.
The kicker with my king is strong enough. If he has a better hand, then he just has a better hand. But oh well, it's not relevant anymore. So
Busquet intimating he was going to check raise there. Does far out 2 flush draws. And we saw Marc-Andre check caller very dynamic board with a weak ace. And in this spot,
is not a great card at all. I also think, though, the chance of him trapping on the turn is pretty low since he's been raising a bunch of turns in spots like that. So I think it makes his range much more likely to be a 1-pair hand, and then obviously some draws. The 4 clubs is really just a terrible card because it shrinks up the value of my hand relative to my overall turn range. It's obviously still a value bet. It's just...
what Busquet is referring to is obviously 6-7 got there and flush draws.
I'm just hoping
got
he
there.
has, like, 2 10s or, like, king 3. If he jams here, it's just, like, super annoying. I also just think it's a fold if he jams.
I wonder if that's what Marc-Andre is thinking about.
I'm so low.
I definitely have some bluffs, though. I have diamonds. I have...
Probably don't need to call
like
this. Though.
Marc-Andre does fold. Taking his time about the decision. Does have a straight blocker. But towards the bottom of his range, if not the stone bottom of his range, finds the fold. Marc-Andre still with the chip advantage. Not quite 2-1 over Busquet, but a chance for Olivier to win some chips back here.
So
A
now
Cornuth,
not
if you
really at
will.
the depth where he can really 4-bet fold, but hopefully his like 4-bet jamming range will be pretty wide. Or he'll just instantly fold.
Marc-Andre with the dead
So
man's hand
interesting to
against
see all the hands
Olivier's
10 minutes later too.
Hi,
dog
Karen.
walker.
And Busquet not electing to bluff with the king-9 high, feels it's too strong a holding. Shows it down. One of those situations where had he had 9-8 off with the 9 of hearts, probably would have won the pot. But as we've said time and time again, these top players so careful of controlling their bluffing frequencies that some of the stronger parts of their range they have to just try and show down, even if they're not good too often.
I think that's a reasonable spot to call with ace high, but without a diamond, I don't love it.
Big holding here for Busquet himself. Pocket tens in the pocket.
And once again, Marc-Andre with a very junky
2 snap folds and 2 correct folds. The edges are just definitely going to be really small. Mark just plays very well. He really understands these games.
Marc-Andre just flatting with the ace-10. And Busquet checking back the king high, but this time turning strongly with top pair. And big sizing on a board where so many hands have a gut shot or a flush draw. Really puts this ace-10 in a tough situation, but Marc-Andre calls and outdraws Olivier on the river. So frustrating for Busquet.
Wow. Wow, man.
Not what he wanted to see there.
Frustrating.
Really sizable pot at this blind level. Marc-Andre.
Yeah, what a big swing that hand was.
Yeah. Olivier, you see why he's a good commentator as well as a good player. And out chip 2 to 1.
Start limping now. 30 bigs. Hello.
Is that some paradise that just walked in the door? Of course, referring to Mark's girlfriend whose last name is Paradise.
Tu peux passer. Ouais, c'est bon. Tu peux même dire salut si tu veux. Moi, j'ai vu.
There she is.
Some
And
Paradise
company
herself.
now.
both players
Great girl.
flopping bottom pair.
Elise Paradise.
Man, these runouts have been not great. All right, yeah, you had me.
Andre notches him again. We are at the
His
famous
showdown
16 level,
value a
Sam.
ton.
The
Where-
Griffin Benger Memorial level.
Players are made and hearts are broken. 3 Dewey. Try not to spewy. Marc-Andre tosses it into the muck.
What? He's up 7-3. 70-30.
Not for long.
He has 70K, I have 30K. All right, so this is kind of one of these weird min-raise spots. I'm actually not sure that it makes sense. I don't know what's better. I think with the suited version of this hand, I think I'm going to just 3-bet instead of jam here. I think there's a chance that he has some dominated queens that will call. I think a lot of the time his range is pretty polarized, so it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Oh, what?
It's really just a question of whether he'll call with the range that he does this play with, and then what those hands look like. So he did call, and not a great board, but also not a board I can fold on.
So sick that Olivier does have a 3-bet range of 19 bigs, and Marc-Andre has flopped
If he
4
just
to
has
a
to be
straight.
completely nutted there.
It's a shame there's no diamond on the board, but
If he's just owning me with big N every time.
I guess we might have to get lucky here versus jam.
Do you think Mark's considering folding here or more just call or shove?
Yeah, I think he's considering calling, maybe. It's such a tough spot. I actually had no idea Olivier would 3-bet off this stat.
All right.
Too much equity on this board versus likely range.
Obviously,
Given how many chips are in the pot, it's just like so many chips.
he does jam. Busquet
Very
calls.
unsure. All right.
Stone flip pretty much.
Good card.
Not so much anymore. Huge favorite, Olivier. No 7, no deuce. He holds.
Sweet.
Nice son.
Marc-Andre getting
What?
caught up in that hand.
I won, but it was like we're like flipping.
Really
We're like flipping on the
strange
spot.
hand.
Yeah.
Didn't expect to see many hands go down like that.
Great to see that,
Marc-Andre
though, like,
flopping
that
a
he-
lot
yeah.
of equity.
You'll see it. You'll see it. in
Don't
10
blame him
minutes.
for the jam.
It's not over though. Obviously, he had a big lead.
And now
All right, so
Busquet with the chip advantage.
Interesting to see that Mark will just shove sort of 17 effectively, 10
It's
suited
a
there.
tough one.
But
Yeah,
Olivier
I feel a little owned
will
there.
click raise on 19 big blinds after facing a
he has
raise.
like
Differing
19
strategies.
bigs.
Olivier always trying
Yeah.
to find a way to gain extra chips. I mean, are you a fan? I mean, you're very GTO aware.
I mean, wow. And let's just talk about this for
Yeah,
a
for
moment.
sure.
Marc-Andre, well, in fact, hard to see how he can get chips from Busquet. Might be tempted to check back such a humongous flop. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done enough work on this kind of spot at all compared to either of these players. But obviously, a lot of people construct their ranges. They might raise with the ace-10 suited and jam the ace-10 off, just as Olivier split his range there according to whether the ace-queen was suited. And seems to be
Decent fluff for us, huh?
ace-10 is good enough to just raise there, and then you can raise junky hands like 3-6 off.
Great spot for
Mark.
Marc-Andre
Checks
there.
the flop. It's wild. I don't think this is a bet actually.
Busquet working through his own range and checks, and we can see here good poker, not just about aggression, about knowing where to apply the brakes.
When to reel it in.
Yeah, great lesson for intermediate and beginning poker players. And Busquet checks back the 10s, and Marc-Andre with one of the most favorable turn cards for this particular holding. 7 or 3 would give him the straight.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, I mean, the thing that I'm noticing about these two guys here is that they find a way to create a new street where normally a lot of
interesting
people
card.
would bet this flop and stuff and not get the value.
Yeah,
I
really.
wonder if it's a card that will make him bluff less. Yeah, I don't think I can bet for value here. So yeah, he did
That is
decide not to bluff on that card, which would have made it really tough if he had bet.
We're hoping he's gonna ISO at some point. We can limb jam some of those.
I think I have too much equity to fold to one bet here.
And Busquet improves to an open-ended straight draw.
I think I'm going to take a shot here.
And leads out.
Gonna need a jack or a 6 to make the best hand here.
And Marc-Andre in a bit of a bind. And Busquet all in.
Wow.
So I just have very, very few bluffs here. Pretty much just this one. And I have a blocker. And I think this river card makes it even less likely that I'd be bluffed. I mean, if he has an ace and he calls, I think it's overall like a pretty big losing play. If he somehow has a 10, I actually don't think this is that easy of a call, but I think it's probably a call.
Busquet breaking it down for us. And Marc-Andre with top pair.
Very fast, which I think
No kicker.
should signify strength to him, but I don't know. I try not to overvalue my reads in those types of situations.
Bet there, I feel like. Should have way enough
It
tens.
matters that it's for his tournament life too. So yeah, we're definitely glad he folded there.
Sick.
Jack 8.
It's a really tough spot for him because I really just don't have very many bluffs at all.
Sick poker.
This was really close. Maybe I should have jammed here. I think I don't mind with King Deuce just limp folding.
All right, we need some help.
So advantage Busquet, 66,000 in chips.
You know what I'm really noticing is that the thing that separates, the thing that really gets the 6 points for a team with just like the very small edges, like two guys like this have, is like a big bluff. It happened in the first match, and it's happened again here in the third. The swing of that big bluff, you see it happen in a lot of different matches. You look at, the Igor Kurganov's bluffs against Perkins.
Just like that.
This is just a trend where it's just like when someone pulls off a big bluff, it's a huge swing for chips, and we're seeing that for sure.
Normally got some pretty good hands when he's going all in those spots. I think he knows his ranges pretty well, so.
Devour asks, hi guys, I have a question. What will the winner of the GPL get? Dinner with both Sam and I.
And possibly even Alex Dreyfus.
I actually think he'll be over c-betting this board.
We can't even get a dinner with Dreyfus.
So I think I'm going to go for a check raise here. I do have two back doors.
I know it's possible he's thinking that I c-bet too much, especially in limp pot. So I'm not that surprised that he tries to put pressure over my c-bets.
The problem is that Mark is
limp pots.
kind of hood, so he tries to hood people. He might have something, or he might try to hood me here. Yeah, this is just not a card that increases my equities, so I'm gonna give up. He either has something or he's planning something, and
Chris Farley and Billy Madison.
That's fine.
That is correct.
This run out is super atrocious. His check on the turn, I think, doesn't mean he can't have some sort of air ball and bet the river with it, but I think it's more likely that he has some sort of hand.
Olivier Busquet aborting mission on the turn when he doesn't get a gut shot. Obviously, 6 or 7 gives him a gut shot and can turn hearts or a pair. So surrendering on the deuce or deuce of spades. And as Griff points out, in this occasion,
I actually
wise
don't
decision.
love a bet here for value with that many hands. I can't really call them very much. But he could be bluffing for sure.
And that evens things up somewhat. Still anyone's game here at 12-24. Probably the last hand of 12-24. Wonder if... No, Marc-Andre does check it. And
it's a good board.
Busquet flops strongly with 2 pair.
Some good turn cards from Marc-Andre's hand, though. Do you ever expect a peel? Question answered.
Marc-Andre checking
I think
the
I'm
9
probably
high
not winning, but I just can't try to steal this board
all the way to the
too
river.
often. And Jack High is just too strong of a hand to try to steal with.
But was it too strong to call, Liv?
And things
Man, it's so
very
cold.
even here. Busquet just a couple of big blinds more than Marc-Andre.
Sam Abernethy with hair for days.
If you're joining us late, we've already seen Thiago Nishijima win 2-1, and this is the 3rd match between Marc-Andre Ladouceur and Olivier Busquet.
Wow, very interesting
I'm so
choice
he's dropping
here.
with the worst hand.
Wow.
Bouncing some of my weaker, just open jams at this stack depth.
Wow, so sick, man.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, taking the offsuit combos and using
He's
them
down
to
to 2
balance,
minutes too, which
as Olivier says.
probably won't matter, but it could matter a little bit.
How neat is it to fold there?
Does he have it?
The deuce may save Marc-Andre, but it seems that for him, this is a very close decision. Does find the fold.
Great fold there from the hockey fan. Ducks
Too
don't
big of
always
a
fly
fold.
together, Mark. Good fold. Hashtag Mighty Ducks.
Hashtag Sportify for poker. Hashtag Farbenja.
So this is just a jam too. Hopefully he's not trapping.
Hashtag Let Go Griffin.
Hashtag mute the commentator.
Good.
And Busquet having to give a lot of walks, picking up some junky hands on the button. And this, wow. So
Double gutter here for, no, it's just a gutter.
yeah, Olivier Busquet with the best hand. And that is a very interesting card. Olivier Busquet turning top pair. Marc-Andre with a somewhat deceptive flush.
So hard for Olivier not to lose a ton of chips in this spot. Marc-Andre checking back a flush draw. The fact that there aren't that many bad river cards. That could be one of them.
Weird run out.
Actually, great run out for Olivier because he might be able to find a fold on this river.
Marc-Andre going to decide what sizing to go for. Has a lot less bluffs when this ace comes off on the river. You would imagine. Be interesting to see whether he does downsize or decide to pressurize Busquet's somewhat cap range.
Did he just lead the turn with a jack?
And it seems like it's not an immediate fold for Busquet. At this point, very hard for Marc-Andre to value bet a hand like King Queen or King
This
10.
is a strange spot. I'm not sure what to do here, actually.
Oh, he does call.
Oh, he had a flush. Yeah, good play. Well played.
Tip of the cap there. Tip of the
Don't think he'd be
eyebrows from
bluffing
Olivier.
that often, but that's one of my stronger hands. It's not a straight.
This is
Sick.
going to be, oh wow, sick limp.
Sick call. Wow.
Yeah, I think this is a call.
And
Whoa,
Wow.
we're ahead.
Oh, that's
Bad flop for
unfortunate.
Olivier.
Take
a spade will win this for
Okay, I have
Marc-Andre.
a shot at a chop here.
A
Plenty of
9
chop
or a
opportunities.
spade or a 6. Bricks off. Wow.
Chop it up.
Wow. Very favorable run out for Olivier
I'll take
Busquet.
it.
Limp calling
I'll
the
take
King
it.
5 suited.
All right, a6.
And once again, these guys going to be all in.
Again.
Wow, same hand. That's funny.
No
All right.
free rolls available.
These blinds get so big, it's just pretty tough to have any
Rewatching that
edge.
10-6 hand, I got
Make
also
full
right
houses,
there.
that's fine.
Full house here.
And
Another cooler.
Yeah, I don't know. I
in the
limped this hand
stroller.
before.
King high versus Queen high.
Let's go.
Another 5.
A little bit of greed here from Olivier.
Wow.
That's a lot of
Open-ended for
outs.
Marc-Andre.
Marc-Andre back at it again with the back doors, but he
Man.
breaks off.
GPL's been good to me.
Yeah, Olivier acknowledging that
It's
he
not over.
has run good in these late
GPL's been good to me
match
so
all
far.
in confrontations. And Marc-Andre now with 7 big blinds. Call from Olivier, who does have the best holding. But Marc-Andre flopping strongly and deserves some luck, I think. King required if Olivier is going to win this match.
A crown
my
for a
God.
king.
Wow.
Oh my God, a crown
That's
for a
tough.
king,
Good
Olivier
game,
Busquet.
I definitely had to run good in the all-ins to win. Good job, Mark.
Marc-Andre almost shocked into silence. 6 points for LA Sunset. Olivier Busquet still undefeated.
Reminds me of like, actually an MMA match where the guy just has an epic battle at the end. It's just like, dude, you kick my ass, but just, the scoring went his way.
Yeah, really top poker there. And you could see Marc-Andre stunned into silence at the end. You could see how much he wanted it. Ran really bad there in the all-in portion of the match. These guys traded blows back and forward. And then, it came down to who ran better. Olivier with an amazing king on the river. I mean, it was quite a challenge really for us to kind of crib or summarize the high-level strategies that these guys were putting to work. There's so many hands that and spots which I couldn't even fully grasp what Olivier and Marc were doing, but certainly lots to learn from and lots to digest. One thing I can say with certainty, though, is it was a thrilling match.
Yeah, Marc-Andre also just kind of killed our bit about him being like 1 point for, like, he played too well today for that to be like a recurring bit. Like, I want to make fun of Marc-Andre because like he's the best in so many ways, but he's just too good at poker. Like, he just played so phenomenally today. Olivier, of course, came back with a lot, but definitely ran a bit better. I really think Marc-Andre and the Nationals deserve 6 points today. Wasn't able to get it. Olivier obviously capitalizing, still making some great bluffs, capitalizing on that run good. That's what happens when the best players in the world run good. They win matches.
And at one point, it really did look like Marc-Andre was going to lock up the 6 points and bragging rights for the Montreal Nationals. Played that 7-5 suited, such a deceptive manner, checking back. And then I kind of, as I said, something of an amateur in terms of the level these guys are at, but suggested that he might have to go for a smaller sizing. Went for the big bet on the river with the flush. Got called very, very light from Olivier Busquet, attacking that somewhat cap range of Olivier's. And, at that point, it really did seem like Marc-Andre was going to Mark flopping that big draw, but fading it,
Yeah.
and Olivier winning, and then the king high versus the queen jack.
Yeah, I really think a star was born today with Marc-Andre Ladouceur. I mean, you compare him to the other 11 managers in the league, and I really think that his performance today stood out for me. Is there anyone else, any other managers that really stood out as far as, I mean, he really played excellently today, and, you know, unfortunate for him, he wasn't able to get the 6 points, but I think this is really promising. It really goes to show how strong the Montreal Nationals are. There's a reason they have been at the top of this division for the whole season until this week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of the managers are legends in terms of their name and what the draw that has for fans. But Marc-Andre, someone that's still competing at the top of the poker tree in those high-stakes cash games. I think, actually, we're going to have one of the guys available to interview. So let's head over to the lounge where the guys do have the winner, Olivier Busquet.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations to LA Sunset and Olivier Busquet taking down 6 points from that match, making them the overall winners. But congratulations to Marc-Andre Ladouceur for the Montreal Nationals as well, being able to take down 3 points for his side as well. I believe we have Olivier Busquet on Skype. Is he there right now? Is he live? There.
I'm here.
Congratulations once again. I feel like you're always on our video wall, Olivier. You're undefeated in heads-up matches.
Yeah, I mean, this one in particular, I think I had to run well in the all-ins. Mark played really well. So, yeah, I needed some help.
Olivier, that's 5 wins for the LA Sunset. Those 5 wins all come from you. If it weren't for you, this team might not even be in the GPL anymore. I think it's time to ask for an extension from Maria Ho.
Yeah, I think, you know, sometimes variance just distributes itself in some different ways. I've gotten the good end of the variance, and some of my other teammates who are all super, super talented, obviously, haven't run as well. So I'm hoping it'll balance out, and I'm sure we'll get tons of points from everyone else soon.
Had you played much with Marc-Andre Ladouceur heads up previously to this match? What did you sort of know about him before coming into this game?
I have actually played a little bit with him in heads up sit and goes over the past few years, and I always found him to be just very thoughtful and very solid, like really understands the game and just rarely makes any real mistakes. I knew coming in that the edge would be small, if at all, and that I would have to like run well to win.
Olivier, with all the players that are throwing at you and you're playing so well, is there a player in the league that you're actually excited or hopeful to meet this year?
Well, I mean, personally, I love a challenge, and I think Jungle Man is probably the best heads-up player, maybe in all of poker, and I think definitely in the GPL. So I'd love to play him. Also, it's obvious that he's super entertaining on the webcam, so I think that'd be fun.
That would have to happen in Las Vegas this summer, so we'll have to see. We're not sure yet if Jungle is making his way to Las Vegas, but I think to play Olivier Busquet, maybe that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Jungle's pretty unpredictable, so who knows?
Liv, we see that you're on the road now, and now what's the lasagna situation? All the fans on Twitch want to know what's going to happen with the lasagna this week, man.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say.
How long can we carry the lasagna on for?
Oh, I'm gonna beat that one to death. Olivier knows that.
Yeah.
I guess it gets difficult when you're living out of hotel rooms.
Yeah, no, it's
room service lasagna.
True. I haven't seen it on the menu, but if I do, I'll
No. Right, we'll end there before we talk too much lasagna. Talking of lasagna, we have Lasagna Man on next week. Well done again, Olivier, and have fun, and we'll see you maybe next week.
All right, cool. Thank you,
Take care, bye. Olivier Busquet there for LA Sunset, taking down 6 points for his team and beating Marc-Andre Ladouceur for the Montreal Nationals heads up there. Although getting pretty lucky, he said so himself. Let's go back to the desk, to the boys. Should we look at a feature hand? I think so.
Thanks, Laura. I'm Griffin Benger. He's Sam Grafton. This is the GPL Week 5, and we have a hand of the match from Olivier Busquet, Marc-Andre Ladouceur, one of my favorite matches of this week, and certainly even of the last 5.
Yeah, for sure. There was a myth at one time that, you know, poker creativity required you to be 200 big blinds deep or such like. But these guys really showing that there are creative ways to play hands even at 30 big blinds. And Olivier Busquet, at this point, really under it in the hand. Marc-Andre limps the ace-6 suited, flops top pair, and Olivier feels obligated to check call with his gut shot. On this 10, you know, a lot of his hands improve, 7-10, 9-10, 8-6, Jack-8, you know, all of which he would check call the flop with. So he elects to turn the 8-5 into a bluff, leading out, realizing it's a very unappetizing and probably not plus EV play to check call it. And then on the river, instantly all in for an overbet, putting Marc-Andre to the test.
And look at the way he kind of goes back. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. I was very prepared to just sort of win this pot. You were only, you know, 25 big blinds effective. Then I flop top pair with an ace. What's going on here?
Yeah.
How are you going to get me to fold?
It's so hard to get someone to fold this hand on this board at this stack depth. But Olivier Busquet does find a way, articulated his thoughts. In fact, you know, suggesting he's targeting exactly this kind of hand, the top pair, and saying that, and quite understandably so, you know, that even with a 10, Marc-Andre not in an enviable position. You know, Busquet did such a great job of breaking it down. He said, I do not have many bluffs here. It might look like he's going crazy with just 8 high, but think of his check calling range. Yeah. The other gut shot, Jack-8, has made a straight. The open-ended straight draw, 8-10, has made trips. 8-6 has made a straight. You know, so many of the hands that he has here are really, really strong on this river. If he did lead 7-10 or 9-10 on the turn, not necessarily what he's exactly representing, he now has a full house. Marc-Andre thinks it through, can't find enough bluff combinations in Busquet's range, and reluctantly folds the ace-6. But such creativity from Busquet. Yeah. In general, we don't see him check call and then lead very often. Did it to devastating effect in that instance. Yeah,
you know what's so poetic about it to me, too, is just the different ways that these players are finding to bluff, whether it's check raising flops, you know, overbet shoving rivers, betting over what they know are value bets on the river, you know, and a situation there, deciding to lead the turn after calling with a bottom gut shot on the flop and then smashing the river all in. It's just really makes you think of how cool poker is. I mean, you know, obviously we're biased here at the GPL behind the booth, but it's true. I mean, we are poker fans just like you guys, and seeing this kind of thing really makes me excited to watch guys like Olivier, especially guys like Marc-Andre now, after I've seen what he's really capable of. You know, I really think that's a cool storyline. Yeah, him being the captain of the team. I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if your poker game is in a rut, mentioning no names, then this is exactly the kind of footage which is going to invigorate you, you know, make you want to get back on the felt and, you know, put the plethora of ideas these guys are, you know, showing us to work. So, yeah, really, really exciting stuff. I don't think it is a case of being biased. I definitely was absolutely gripped and have been absolutely gripped every time I've seen Busquet in action. Anyway, let's head over to the lounge where the guys will wrap things up for us.
More gripping stuff.
Well, indeed, thank you so very much. We have had 2 epic matches this evening here at the Global Poker League Live. This Thursday evening, that one, Olivier Busquet was just able to seal the deal. 6 points for the LA Sunset versus the 3 points of Marc-Andre Ladouceur's Montreal Nationals. Let's see where that leaves us in the standings. I feel like because the Americas standings were so close together, that is really going to change things up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it doesn't change much, Laura. What it does is that it matches Montreal and LA in points, so they're now tied for third, so good on both of those teams. Both of the teams having 5 wins. Again, we mentioned that all 5 of LA Sunset's victories belong to Olivier Busquet, who actually had a very fair comment noting variance and how lucky he's been in some situations, whereas other star players, Fedor Holtz, for example, just hasn't been that quite lucky. So yes, Busquet has all those wins, but as Olivier mentions, that's poker, and sometimes he's already, I'm sure, feeling the fact that he knows that he's going to drop some games further down the line. That might not be his, his fault. So we see those standings. They're fun. They're fun for the moment. I think San Fran and Las Vegas to complete the first third of this calendar will be interesting to see who places where 33% of the league being complete.
So San Francisco Rush and Las Vegas Moneymakers right at the bottom of the standings, 5 and 6 points behind who we've just seen, LA Sunset and Montreal, which means if one of them can manage to clean sweep, then it's going to change things up again, and we'll see either LA or Montreal possibly down at the bottom of the table again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so exciting, isn't it?
Speaking of exciting, Kitty Quo Cam coming up soon.
I know, I'm so excited for the Kitty Cam.
Yeah, Kitty's ready. She's posted on Twitter quite a few pictures. She's ready to go. And Jonathan Little also very ready to go. They're being very nice to each other on Twitter right now, but that might change in a few minutes.
I reckon it might change. The Kitty will get her claws out. Right, that match is coming up very, very soon. So please stay with us here at the Global Poker League, where we have one final last heads-up match coming for you from the Americas Conference this evening. It's Jonathan Little of the Las Vegas Moneymakers versus Kitty Quo of the San Francisco Rush. Stay right here.